Hi teachers, I know you know how to join a Google Meet. I just want to make sure that you know how to start your own Google Meet. So 2 ways to get there is either typing in meet.google.com in your URL bar or coming over to the waffle, and Google Meet is one of your app choices. So we're going to go ahead and tap on Google Meet. And if you have other meets scheduled on a particular day, they're going to list down here, but you'll still be able to tap on join or start a meeting. So we're going to do that. Make sure you give your meet a nickname if you're having students join. This closes it to within our All Saints Academy domains. The other thing it does is this is what enables you to prevent students from rejoining a meet after you have left it, once that update comes through. So let's give it a nickname. You'll probably also want to work on your own naming conventions. Maybe the subject that you're talking about during a meet and the date, or your name and the date, just to differentiate your meets, because when you record them, they all end up in your drive. So let's go ahead and tap continue with our nickname. And if this is the first time you're using Meet, it will prompt you to allow Meet to use your camera and your microphone, and you do want to do that. So go ahead and tap allow if you see that. You can see it looks like my camera failed. You're not going to see that. Mine is busy recording this, so that's why it's not available for two things. So you would see yourself in this window right here. You want to make sure the light source is in front of you and that there's nothing distracting behind you when you're doing that. So let's go ahead and tap join now. And because we've given it a nickname, this pops up. And this is the joining information. So you're going to want to copy the joining information, or you can add people. Pros and cons to these. Copy the joining information if you want to send a message just to your grades group email. So for example, grade 7 at asagr.org would send the email to all of grade 7. If you were adding people individually, you're going to enter either every 7th grader's individual email, or if you are, again, in a younger grade and you're sending it to parents, you're going to add people and enter all of their emails separately. So the other place you can find this, if you didn't give it a nickname, is you're going to find the joining information by clicking in the lower left corner. And you would copy the joining information, go to your email, send the email. Okay, just for the sake of time here, I'm going to add people. And I have Mr. Sitko pretending to be a 7th grader. So I'm going to send this invite to a 7th grader, and the email is going to look the same on their side. They're going to get an email from you that says, hey, join this Hangout. So while we're waiting for our 7th grader to join, you can see that whoever is speaking by these little volume noises. And there's my 7th grader now. So you can see I'm talking. Go ahead, 7th grader, say a few words.
How are you, dear?
There, you can see who is speaking by these. You can, thank you, 7th grader. You can mute your students as they come in. And now you cannot unmute them. Only they can unmute themselves. But you can mute them as they come in so you don't get a lot of feedback from a lot of background noise. Or you might want to set up a classroom procedure that says to them, you need to mute your mic as soon as you join until you're called on. You know, and then you might want to have a round robin with everybody and give them a few minutes to talk and that kind of thing. Let's take a look at some of the other options. The chat up here, everybody who's participating can chat a message to each other. So you would just, you know, you might want to tell them to mute their mics. And they can respond, and you can have a whole dialogue going along here, and you can toggle between these two things, the chat and the people. So here we are again with our list of participants. Some of your other options are if you tap down here in the bottom, this is where you can mute your mic or your camera. Okay, so now I'm muted and you can see there's a little symbol next to me because now we're both muted. Okay, and I can turn it back on. And again, we can see whose mics are muted and who is talking. All right. The other thing you might want to do on here, you can pin your screen so that's the main screen. So it's always a good thing for the presenter to do is to show their screen. Here's some other options, okay? Before I get into present, we're gonna tap on the three dots over here. Here is how you turn on record a meeting. You're probably gonna wanna do that first before you even add people. So we can turn this on and we're going to accept. It's asking for the consent to record the meeting. You're gonna get the little emblem up here that says it's recording. So now our meeting is being recorded. Okay, so then let's take a look at what some of your other options are. You can change the layout so that there's one big and several small. Everybody else's windows are small, or if you want to spotlight somebody, or if everybody kind of has equal billing over here. I'm going to leave it as is for now, but feel free to play around with these things. You can present in full screen, meaning you lose all these tabs up here and down here, and all you see is the presenter's screen. You can turn on captions. That's kind of interesting if you want to have your students read along, or if you have a hard of hearing student. So here's our captions right here appearing down at the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to turn that back off just because it's kind of distracting for this purpose, but just so that you know you have that option. And settings are how you're going to set which microphone and which camera you're using. Most likely you probably won't need to do anything at all with that. So if you want to present your screen, you're going to tap present now. Now your students have this option too. So, you know, if you want a student to show something that's on their screen, you can turn it over to them and have them present as well. So let me tap present now, and I can either present my entire screen, which you're already seeing, or I can skip to a specific window. So let's take a look over here at my email, and I tap share. And then now it's telling me I am presenting my screen as opposed to my camera, okay? The other thing it's going to do is it's showing me this is me with my screen pinned. Now if I unpin that, it's probably going to show this again. So it's telling me I'm presenting. So I can head back over to that tab and show whatever it is I want to be showing. Then I can hop back over to the presenter and I can tell it to stop presenting. And so then it's going to default back to our cameras again. So, and again, I can toggle between whose camera I'm seeing by just tapping on either the avatar or the initial. So that's kind of in a nutshell how you navigate through a presentation. So I'm sure the first few times you do it, it's going to be clunky. And as you do it, it's going to become more and more routine. Now, when you get to the end of your presentation, you want all the students to leave first. You as the teacher need to be the last person to leave any session, and that's what's going to keep, once the update comes through, that's what's going to keep students from rejoining a meet. So if students don't leave of their own will, you have the power to remove them, okay? So I can tap that little symbol and remove. Now I'm the last one here. So I'm tapping down the bottom here to get my controls. This is how you leave the meeting. So I can tap that and it returns me to this screen. Now everybody who leaves the meeting sees this screen. So this is why the students also have this option to rejoin after they leave a meeting. And this is why it's so important for you to nickname your meetings and to be the last one to leave, so that when they tap rejoin, they can't really rejoin. Now, we haven't received that update as of this recording, so they're going to still be able to rejoin. But get in that habit, because that update could come in tomorrow or by Easter Sunday, anytime in the next 2 weeks. So when you're done, you just simply close this window. And if you want to know where your recording went, it will dump it into your drive. There we go. We get back to my drive, and it's going to dump it right in your drive. So here it is, right in my drive. Here's the recording of today's message. So that's where you would find your recording so that you could share it out with maybe students who couldn't be in your meet. And that's pretty much a meet from start to finish as a teacher. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions or if something doesn't work for you. I hope this helps, and I hope it wasn't just too long and drawn out. So good luck with your meets, and we'll continue this teaching experiment online as long as we have to. Stay healthy.